So today my plan is to build an automatic farm, but alright, let's kind of get started on this one. First I want to figure out how big I want to build this farm. So the limiting factor for my base is going to be the watering system, and to test that I first need to get a lot of water. And that's also where I've heard a little trick from you guys, because normally you would just connect this vacuum pump to a switch, but that actually would pump it rather slowly, and you can pump water and other liquids way faster. Okay, so basically what we have here is 3 XOR gates, and they're all connected in a circle with each other. Then I've connected a switch to all 3 of them, which is going to act as the continuous input source. And you see now, as I turn this on, this is flickering actually really fast. And you'll see as I connect this here, we actually get a lot. I mean, honestly, this is really fast. Okay, now I'm actually gonna cover the logic gates because these lights are kind of not so nice to look at. But yeah, this way we're going to get lots of water for now, which I'm going to need, and you're gonna see why. Alright, as you can see, I've built a similar contraption, just a little bit more compact and mobile. And now you can see the brilliance of my watering system. So basically, whenever you shoot water with the vacuum pump, you do have a little bit of spread as you shoot out the water. And yeah, basically I don't need a fancy contraption to water my crops. I can just abuse this basically, and I guess I'll just start placing down a lot of soil here, and then we'll see if all the plots are going to get watered. So you can also apparently almost run pipes underground. You can just clip them like 2/3 into the ground, which makes them a lot more discreet. But yeah, I can easily drive over the pipeline. That is really cool. Might as well sacrifice a few of my beloved component kits, so I can actually craft the pipes a little bit quicker. Right, so now I'm going to place down lots of soil. Well, that doesn't really look like a whole lot yet, but I've kind of ran out of soil. So, how do I craft that stuff again? I think it was really expensive. I mean, it's just using a lot of wood. Now, when it comes to getting a lot of wood, I do have a little bit of a trick up my sleeve. Yeah, now I also have infinite gasoline from my base that I've built last time, which is working really well. Okay, actually, before I get carried away grinding again, I'm going back to my first farm location, which again is on the other side of my base. Now, sadly, the only annoying thing about this location is that I'll have to get rid of the squatters first. Alright, so the plan is I'm going to place down exactly 16 carrots, and that number is for a very specific reason I'll show you later. First, I'll just have to clear this mini raid I'm going to trigger. Okay, it seems like this farm location is still as safe as ever. And yes, because I've planted my crops on this side, all the bots are not even going to try to attack through the main entrance, which is just absolutely absurd. I can also fight them pretty much one bot at a time, because they'll quickly go back to trying to reach the crops. Alright, I defeated the raid, and why am I getting a phone call right now?
Mechanic, I had this idea I just gotta share with you. Now hear me out. Scare cracks.
Anyway, call from Hubert aside, I'm just going to wait for these carrots to grow. And in the meantime, we are going back to the mechanic station, where I can spend half a fortune on making a cookbot, which is currently just face planting the floor. Are you having a rough day, little buddy? Anyway, this is looking really depressing, so let's help them out. Oh, what is it again, Hubert?
The beat gets slapped to the box steak.
Okay, Hubert, you're low-key kind of annoying. Alright, and now I just need to wait a long time for all those carrots to grow. Maybe I really should have used some of the fertilizer I've been hoarding. Oh yeah, those crops are looking wonderful. Wait, don't carrots usually like grow underground? Well, I guess we do not question the Wonk Enterprise crops. Alright, and now with all those lovely vegetables, I can make a lot of vegetable burgers, which, as you can see, are going to give us some random special perks. Alright, let's munch them and see what we're going to get. So first up, I'm getting this symbol, which means I can hammer faster now, which is very cool for fighting the hay bots and harvesting wood and stone. One of the reasons I was really looking forward to this, and as I keep eating them, I also get, I think, increased jump height or reduced fall damage. Yeah, and I think I also get a little bit more max HP or something. Anyway, these perks are really useful, and they're gonna stay with us permanently. I mean, provided I won't die, that is. Since I'm such a pro gamer, I don't really think that's gonna happen. I've only died like 1 or 2 times before, so I think this is a very worthy investment. And oh yeah, that was the fun stuff. Now I have to go back to grinding lots and lots of wood. Oh, the wood of those big trees actually has slightly different color. How did I never notice this before? Well, I wish there would be more interesting things I could say while grinding all of this wood, but the truth is, it's just a kind of boring process. And I've also actually realized that the wood you get from the big trees, if you refine that, that's going to give you like okay, I can't place it down right now, 1 second. Like, if I refine this by hand or via a machine, I actually get 40 scrap wood each, which is kind of wild. Oh no, the seeker is coming. And yeah, the deforestation is spreading very, very quickly. Now I'm kind of scared, since this is getting quite close, and my sawmill is especially flammable. Oh, this is not looking that good. We're very close to the border of its range, but I think I just about dodged the seeker bud. Yeah, and also if this thing starts shooting, that's probably not ideal, because they can actually set the trees on fire, and once the trees burn down, all you get is just a little bit of ember. Alright, I've been chopping wood now for about 2 hours. Okay, I've just measured it, and I have 2 large chests full of scrap wood, which is 30,000 scrap wood blocks, enough for like 300 soil bags, and that actually might be enough for that little farm over there. Alright, let's test if this watering system can actually water all those plots. I've set everything up here already, and oh my, those water bottles are being blasted so quickly through this entire system. And honestly, this is working not too poorly. But you see, every time one of those water drops actually hits my field, it also waters multiple tiles at once. Honestly, this has been running for like half a minute by now, and we have almost the entire field watered. This is honestly not even the stupidest watering system. I have to put 0 effort into this. It's honestly very funny. Besides, you could even turn this on during a farm raid, and whenever there's a haybot trying to attack your crops, they'll just get stunned by this fountain of water. So now another problem is I don't really have a lot of pigment flour and cotton seeds. But anyway, I'm going to plant down the seeds I already have, and I really hope they give me more than 1 seed back. Alright, and then in the meantime, I'm just going to try and gather a couple more seeds. So yeah, I'm just picking a lot of pigment flowers one by one, as they only give me 1 seed each, but it's not too bad. I've already got quite a few. Oh, they're all just growing right now. Great timing. Well, as you can see, I was grinding a lot of cotton and pigment flowers, so now I can really get this whole thing started. Okay, so I've just rejoined my world and restarted the entire game, and my game is so much smoother now. So I guess you really need to do that every once in a while. Alright, now let's see how many seeds I can get for each planted plant, and I only get 1 seed back. That is a little bit of an issue. I mean, maybe not exactly, it just means I can't afford to waste any seeds. It's kind of weird, every time I place down a cotton seed for just a split frame, you can still see the fully grown plant. So I've actually got enough cotton seeds, which is great, and I'm actually planning to split this farm now into 2 parts, one for cotton and one for pigment flowers. So let's hope I've picked enough of the pigment flowers as well. Alright, it does look like I have enough seeds for my mega farm, that's great. Okay, so I think I'm going to start by building a little fence around the farm. And once that is complete, we can think about the automation system for automatically planting and harvesting the crops, which is probably going to be very interesting, but I already have a plan for that, so... Oh yeah, this is starting to look like a neat little farm. Right, so for the way I'm planning to automate this, I'm going to need a vacuum pump per row, and I have like 8 ones. One is going to suck up the crops, and another one's going to plant new ones, so that means I need 16 for this field, another 16 for this field, means I need a total of 32 vacuum pumps. Surely that's not going to be expensive at all or something. That's going to be 32 component kits. Yikes. I don't even know if I have that many circuit boards left. A lot of glue and metal. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Okay, so I already am lacking the metal for making all of these too, so I guess I'm gonna go back to drilling. Well, good thing my hammer speed is so much faster now. I really should start building a better mining vehicle soon. Well, fortunately, I do have enough component kits for once. I mean, they've just been piling up while I wasn't building something super intensive in the meantime. I don't know if I can say the same. Oh, I can say the same about circuit boards. Yeah, I also need to find over 100 glue. That's like 200 beeswax. Oh, that's absolutely crazy. I've already been picking up beeswax whenever I had the chance to, but I only have about 100 for now. Whoa, what's lying there? Is that a grow lab key? But what? I've already unlocked the second grow lab. Alright, but I finally have 100 beeswax now. So that should be enough to make all the glue that I need. Wow, this farm is actually looking really cool. Alright, I just need 2000 scrap wood. The scrap wood has been grinded and I can finally make tons of glue. Well, that I'm immediately gonna use up to make vacuum pipes, so in the end I won't be left with any. But at least I can take joy in looking at the glue while I still have it. Alright, let's make 36 vacuum pumps. That's gonna take a little bit. Well, after I craft my next thing, I'm down to just 3 circuit boards. I cannot believe I have more component kits than circuit boards. But yeah, I'm also gonna need a couple large chests to just organize my stuff. Maybe this is a bit overkill, but... Okay, I think I figured out the design of the head that's going to move over my entire field and process all the crops. So in the front I'm going to have a lot of pumps that are going to suck things in. Then I'll connect all of those via T-pipes. I'm sorry that I just keep falling off all the time, but I'll connect all of these via T-pipes. I'm gonna copy a similar design on the back, and these ones are gonna be the planters then, which are gonna plant the new crops. I guess timing and wiring up the logic for this is going to be its own challenge. And then I actually have a gap in the middle where I can just put as many chests as I want to. So if I have a lot of chests here, that's going to have a very high capacity for passively farming me a lot of pigment flowers or cotton. All I really need to do is craft a whole lot more pipes, and to move them across my creation, I'll probably, like, I don't know, try to use pistons? Yeah, now I'm running into a little bit of a problem. I need to build some kind of rails that the head travels across the farm. Yeah, this one kind of blocks some of my sprinkler water as well, which is not ideal. So wait, that actually gives me another idea that's going to be a lot more tedious. I could just build this one head and then the one on the other side, weld them both together, and then they're both stabilized on the rails on their own end. Therefore, I don't need to build anything in the middle of my field, which means I'd have to weld it together. That's just a lot more tedious while building, but I think I could make that work. So to really get started on this, I just need to figure out exactly how many pistons I'm going to need. So this block has to be moved all the way over here, which is quite a distance. And that's about 60 blocks. So I think if I upgrade all the pistons to level 3, I'm going to need about 6 each, which is 12 in total. I already have 2. So crafting 10 pistons doesn't look too bad, except I'm basically out of circuit boards. So I think I'm just going to grind in the ruins for a little bit. I mean, with all my buffs from the burger, I should be able to do this so much easier now. And I can find like lots of useful resources in here, so I'm basically gonna help my future self a lot with it too. So I think I really underestimated how effective just grinding the ruins can be. Alright, I am now making all the pistons we're gonna need. And I think I'm going to need a lot of component kits to upgrade them. Whoa, pistons are the same color as vacuum pumps? I didn't really expect that. But right now I just want to see how far I can get with the pistons. And yeah, I do have to push it a little bit further, so I'm just going to have to spend a lot of my component kits. But that is fine, since I can grind them kind of quickly these days. Alright, it's not even nearly as bad as I thought it would be. I think I only upgrade this one, and now I have enough range on all my pistons. Oh yeah, those vacuum pumps are very heavy. Okay, I've got the whole head now on its own creation, where I can kind of weld it all together. And I've also kind of realized that I probably want to move the vacuum pumps one further ahead. Okay, and the reason for that is I want these sticks to be a bit longer, because they've already been sagging through the railings so easily, and I just hope that's a bit less likely if they're a bit longer. Right, I have set up the entire pipe network just as I sketched it, and it just started to rain. But yeah, this is gonna be very heavy. I hope the physics are not going to be too janky. Alright, I've welded it on and it's already flopping about a lot. These pistons are really not that strong. That makes me really worried about this whole idea, but I haven't sufficiently stabilized stuff yet, so maybe it can change. Hey, it's a whole lot more stable now and doesn't glitch through anymore, which is really good. Alright, I just connected up all the pistons, so let's see how well this thing moves. And it actually does move quite well. Very fast at the moment, faster than it needs to be. But yeah, I guess I'm kind of happy with how well this has worked out so far, so now I kinda need to work a little bit on the logic. Okay, I think I'm already having a plan for how I'm going to do the controlling of the farm. Alright, so my main idea is to have like 6 controllers, each for its pair of 2 pistons. Okay, I also need to upgrade each controller once. That allows me to connect pistons on both sides. So right now, if I activate the switch, the vacuum pipes are moving slowly. Then I hear my signal, so now it would basically trigger like the vacuum pumps. And then I have to learn how to, set up a clock that would fire up all the vacuum pumps when it's their time. And I actually do need a few more logic components for this, so I do have to do a teeny tiny bit more of grinding, but I think I'm getting real close. Like literally as soon as I'm done with the logic, since I already have all the parts that I need here, the whole thing should work. Yo, I've just reached 100 days in my world. Oh, that's crazy. So it's a few days later, and I don't know what I was thinking anymore about this. We're not going to need any of the controllers, actually. I was just thinking about this way too complicated. Like, usually I just go with the first idea that comes to my mind, and even if that requires horrendous hours of grinding, I still tend to stick with it, which is not good. I've realized I actually don't need to move the vacuum pumps in a very particular way. I can just let the pistons take care of it, because the only thing that is kind of tricky about this is figuring out when exactly the vacuum pump should activate. And to figure that out exactly, I can just use a bunch of sensors. The idea is rather simple. Whenever a piston moves above one of my crops, I just have to place a block in the middle of each crop. And now when I turn the switch on, you should hear sound every time the thing is overplot. Maybe it's a little bit too fast. And I've already put all the pistons on slow, so maybe I do need a little bit of controller shenanigans. Well, good thing I've grinded so many of them. Well, I also replaced the blocks with ice blocks now, because I think the lower friction is going to help a whole lot, since this is very heavy. And I think it was an issue with the wood blocks before. I also massively simplified the controllers now. So basically, a first controller, what it does, in the first time step, I just move the first 2 controllers by the maximum range. Then in the second time step, I move controllers 3 and 4, and so on and so forth. And I've wired them so that 1 and 2 are always on opposite sides. I mean, basically what it means is it first moves the first piston to full range, then the second piston to full range. And you see it here with the logic gates and sensors, that this actually works wonderfully. You can also see with the ice blocks, the friction is way less of an issue, so that's really working out well. Well, I guess sometimes you can find smarter solutions. And for the second controller, I'm just starting at the 4th time step, so they nicely work together. Now notice how this sensor isn't detecting anything, but this sensor is, and that's because these sensors can actually detect grown plants. So I have to build a system with this to automatically trigger the harvesting and replanting head whenever my crop's are fully done growing. So now I've placed down 8 sensors, and I've connected all of those sensors to an OR gate. So this is going to activate if any of the plants are fully grown. And once that's the case, I'm going to connect it to a timer that I'm going to set for a minute, because sometimes some of the plants grow faster than others, and I want to give the rest some time to catch up. Maybe I'll even place down a second timer. And once the second timer is finished, there's a third timer of 35 seconds, which is about the time it needs for all the pistons to reach the end. And then I've connected this to an AND gate, so only while this timer hasn't finished yet, I'm going to allow these planters to actually suck up and plant crops. because otherwise I could be wasting some of the seeds because my planters might activate on the way back. And I think that's about the entire logic setup for this farm. So as you see, this timer will finish, and once this is done, the NAND gate should deactivate, and that should prevent the sensors from triggering again. And then I simply just activate my controllers whenever this timer hasn't finished yet, and also the seed cooldown is fully completed, because if I use both of these signals, it just means my controllers are going to return a little bit faster, and that is already once this timer is done. So let's do a test with the sensors not connected, because it would be a real shame if I waste my over hundreds of seeds and have to grind for like an hour to try and get them all back again. But once I activate the grow sensors, like this, and we're going to have to wait for a minute now, which is the time I set, for the other crops to catch up. I can also increase this timer with the second one, which I might have to do later. Alright, and now that the minute is starting to become over, I should slowly but surely start triggering my pistons. Yes, now the pistons are moving. You can hear the sensor would theoretically activate. Now this is going to go on for about 35 seconds, which is hopefully enough time for this whole planting head to move to the other side of the farm. And it looks like it just about managed to. Now this timer expires, and the end gate here deactivates. This means the whole plant head can go back now, and because this gate is not activated anymore, I'm going to use this to prevent my sensors from triggering again, and basically the auto farm is complete now. Wow, that's crazy. This actually wasn't even too difficult with the logic, and I hope you could follow through some of that. Alright, so now for the proper test, I'm going to load up the chests already. Okay, I've just waited until it turns day again, so you're gonna have a nicer view of the whole farm in action. Alright, I'm really hoping I'm not going to lose all of my crops right now, because that would be a real shame. But yeah, now I'll have to be patient for about a minute. That's probably not enough time in the long term, but for testing this is going to be just fine. Okay, now I'm just going to take a front row seat to the whole disaster that's going to unfold, or maybe it's going to be my own genius. Well, place your bets right now. Like, I totally bet that I just forgot to connect something and the whole thing's not gonna even work. It's working. It's harvesting automatically. Oh, that's so cool. I think new stuff is being planted. Oh, this is actually really epic. Oh, I can't believe I'm actually somewhat smart. Unbelievable. I mean, okay, it could still go horribly wrong on the way back, but this is working wonderfully. All the crops are planted. Oh, this is great. Okay, now let's wait for the thing to go back. None of the sensors are activating. This actually works. This is crazy. Oh yeah, I just forgot one thing, and that's the watering system. It doesn't automatically turn on right now, which is kind of bad. But I'll just fix that small thing, and then this farm should actually be good to go. Oh, this is going to be huge. Now, how do I connect that watering system? What did I do here before? Oh, why does this look so confusing? Ah, these are literal jump scare bots, not gonna lie. I mean, honestly, I can just keep the watering system running 24/7. There isn't really any harm in doing this. It might just not be the best for my frame rate, to be honest. Oh no, one of the waters just triggered my sensors for like a single tick. That hopefully shouldn't cause any issues. Well, it would be a bit easier to concentrate if there wasn't all this noise constantly going around. Okay, I think I finally figured it out. So basically, my green timers here, that's the delay after the first crops are grown. There I'm going to charge up 2 minutes worth of signal. Then I wait the about 70 seconds it would take for the head to move to the other side of the field and back. And after that time has passed, since the signals travel through the entire timers, I get about 2 minutes worth of watering time. So I've just connected this to my logic gates that control the watering system, and basically my watering time that way is tied to the time I wait after the crops are grown, and I hope 2 minutes is about enough. Worst case, I'll just have to put in like 2 more timers and we'll make it 3 minutes. That makes the farm a little bit slower, but honestly, I think this is going to be fast enough. Now, I guess I can just go back and wait for my crops to be grown, which is gonna be very boring gameplay for me. I can actually save things on the lift, Since when can you do this in survival? But yeah, I can't use the lift to spawn anything in, but I could save my blueprints. That could actually be quite useful, because I've heard later there's going to be an option we can use to spawn blueprints into survival. But yeah, I'm just going to watch my farm for now and hope nothing's going to break. Okay, it's looking like my crops are actually starting to grow, and you can see the logic sensor I placed down for the crop sensors. That one's activating, so... Oh, the replanting is happening automatically now. That's great. But you can see some of the crops aren't fully grown yet, so I probably should increase the grow timer. That also means I'm probably losing seeds right now because the sensor is triggering all replants, which is not the best, to be honest. But at least I'm not losing all of my seeds. Yeah, you can see some of the cotton isn't being replanted. Alright, now that the plant head is returning back home, the watering system should soon activate. Provided there's no flaw in my logic, that is. Well, I think I fixed the flaw in my watering system. I've just added too many timers. I just need the 70-second cooldown for my head to move forth and back, and after that is passed, I power my water system directly. So that hopefully should fix that. And I also have the problem that this farm kind of breaks when I run out of seeds, since I won't have enough to replant all my plants. So right now I need to grind a few more cotton seeds, since actually I have more than enough pigment flower seeds. But once I fix this, this should hopefully be a fully functioning auto farm, albeit a bit jank in places. But the jank has never stopped me, and I don't think it should stop you either. Although I guess if you actually had water cannons unlocked, this would be a super easy fix. But we're going to do that next episode. So I've actually picked plenty of cotton. So I've just connected all my sensors to an AND gate with a switch. So basically with this master switch, I can toggle the harvesting on or off. I mean, after I press the switch, I still need to wait for like 3 minutes. But that way I can also toggle the farmer off once all the chests are overflowing, because I'm getting so much cotton and pigment flowers now. I'm not even sure what I want to do with all of those. Alright, now the auto harvesting is beginning again. And since I'm not running out of seeds, everything is being replanted, which is excellent. And right now my farm is stuck. I probably forgot a connection. Oh, never mind, I just had the delay wrong. But now it all should work wonderfully. Yes, the automatic watering is working. Oh, that's amazing. Now I hope 3 minutes is enough to basically water all the crops. Okay, I got everything but a single crop. That's good enough for me, honestly. Like, the problem with the crops at the edge of the fence is sometimes water would fall down here, but it first hits the fence, so it won't splash the crops to the side of it. So if I considered this during construction, I would have just left more of a gap between the crops and the fence. But other than that, I'm actually very satisfied with this auto farm. Maybe one day I'll pair this with an automatic defense. I hope you found this episode useful, and let me know what I should do with all my cotton and pigment flowers I'm farming now. And thanks for watching this episode. Enjoy the beauty of automation. Whoops, seems like I've missed 2 crops again.